right. All right, thank you for that. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's California Community of Practice on Secondary Transition General Meeting on this day, Monday, November 6, 2023. I hope you're all having a great start of the week, and we do appreciate your presence here today. I'd like to start off very quickly with introductions of your hosts. My name is Michelle Bellio, and I'm an Education Programs Consultant with the California Department of Education, Special Education Division, working with the Programs and Partnerships Unit, supporting secondary transition. I will go ahead and pass it over to my colleague, Nick Waveren.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Nick Waveren, Education Programs Consultant in the Special Education Division of the California Department of Education. It is good to be here. And I'll pass it on to Caitlin.
Hi, everyone. It's good to see all your faces. Good afternoon. I hope the start of the November holiday season is going well for everyone. My name is Caitlin Williams. I am one of the managers in DOR's cooperative program section, overseeing educational cooperative programs and then some of our statewide initiatives. And I will pass it over to Joyce.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joyce Montgomery. I am a representative from the California Transition Alliance, and I'm happy to be here with you all this afternoon for this community of practice.
All right, thank you so much. So now we will review today's agenda. We will begin by taking a quick look at the COP general calendar of topics for 2023 and 2024. Then we'll have a wonderful presentation from the newest Advisory Commission on Special Education Student Commissioners, Rachel Ding and Saran Tugs-Jargal, followed by an open discussion. And lastly, we will have updates from California Department of Education, the Department of Rehab, and the California Transition Alliance partners. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Caitlin to talk about our calendar.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're
So
welcome.
up on the screen right now, we have our proposed calendar of topics that align with the determined goals of the community of practice. We have our 23-24 COP calendar. So for October 2nd, last month, we focused on person-centered planning and as an essential transition assessment. This month, as it was mentioned, our focus is on youth voice. For December, we have a topic of early transition planning, and then we'll be skipping the beginning of January just because we know that first week of January is a lot in terms of folks being off still, a lot of vacation being utilized, and also a lot of our local LEAs aren't even back in session yet. The beginning of February, we'll be focusing on family engagement, and then to kind of start our spring quarter out, utilizing data to inform needs, outcomes, and effectiveness. Continuing on in April, we have a focus on local partnership agreements and business engagement. May 6th, so early May, a focus on alternate diploma and a year in recap. So that's where we'll be looking at the last fiscal year and kind of how everything rolled out and transpired. And then for June, a focus on successful interagency collaborative efforts. And then as always, we welcome any suggestions for presenters, suggestions of agencies that would be potentially beneficial to reach out to for information, or even if you yourself are interested in facilitating a COP meeting or topic. And then these dates also aren't necessarily set in stone. So if you feel like you have something really beneficial that could add to the conversation and we have it currently keyed in on a specific date, there is a lot of flexibility too. So we have the ability to kind of adjust our calendar as needed if that's helpful. So just some things to keep in mind as we move through our COP calendar year. And then with that, I think I'm passing it back over to Joyce.
Okay, so I'm very honored to be able to introduce our student speakers that's going to be talking with us today. They are the newly appointed commissioners, youth commissioners on the Advisory Commission on Special Education. And I did have the privilege to be able to watch them getting inaugurated into that position, and it was quite moving. And I really, the thing about having youth at this level of an advisory with a vote is, I think, going to be changing in our field of having that youth voice to be prominent. So with that, I am going to turn it over, and I believe that Saran, you are up first.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Okay, great. So this is a quick slideshow of who I am, my leadership journey, my passions, my goals, and also what kind of solutions I hope to accomplish for special ed. So first off, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Saran Takshargal, and I am the commissioner on California Department of Education Advisory Commission on Special Ed. You can go to the next slide. So my leadership journey. So I have been in leadership at my school since middle school, since I was 7th grade. I was one of the first middle schoolers to be part of my school's ASB because I always had this belief when I was little. You don't have to, because I used to have this belief of you don't have to have a degree to serve. You don't have to have this to serve. All you need is a passion, full of heart. Something that Martin Luther King Jr. said once, and I was very inspired by that. And I was like, maybe I was destined to be a leader, and this is something that I was very passionate about. So as an elected representative and a liaison for the advisory committee for my school, what I do is I draft and I present proposals to the community. I make sure that I represent all the students in my community, make sure that all their voices are heard and amplified, and as best as I can. But something that I also do is I represent the student body in ASB. And another thing that I do for my school's ASB is I organize school-wide events that focus on community bonding, because I go to a school that is 6th through 12th. So, and it's a very small school. It's a very small charter school that has like 350 students, not your typical high school or middle school. So there's a lot of middle schools and high schoolers. And every single week on Friday, we have this thing called CCC, Community Citizenship thing, where we have kind of like assembly, and we lead these type of events where we do like musical chairs, rock, paper, scissors, or we do something like a really group activity with everyone at the school, kind of to like get to know each other and build that bridge of gap. And second thing that I'm very proud of part of is I'm a proud of the League of Women Voters. This is something that I'm very astonished to be a part of. I've been a part of it since sophomore year. And in League of Women Voters, what I do is that I plan pre-voter registration booths at different schools in Alameda County and for youth. And what my main passion for this is, I empower youth to amplify their voices through voting, because a lot of people are like, oh my God, voting is so scary. Like, why should I vote for someone? It's like a lot of people don't understand that voice that you're giving when you're voting for people. So it's my job that I inspire empower youth, people my age, 16 and 17-year-olds and 15-year-olds, to speak up and be able to empower them to vote. And then thirdly, something that I'm very, very passionate about and something about my leadership is Interact Club. I've been a part of Interact Club since freshman year. I've been a part of it district-wide, regional-wide, and locally-wide. I'm the president of ACLC Interact Club for my school, but I am the project representative for District 5170. And as a member of Interact since freshman year, this is the one club that has taught me to go beyond my leadership skills and taught me that it's okay to be different and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. I used to be someone who was very introverted, and I knew that like making new friends, meeting new people, socializing, it felt very daunting to me. Felt like I had put a lot of effort in, but everyone was very kind and everyone allowed me to kind of take risks. And it kind of inspired me to become more of a leader beyond my future. And last year, I was a recipient of the Rotary Youth Leadership Award in summer of 2023 that Alameda Rotary Club has sponsored before. You can go to the next slide. So now I serve as your commissioner for California Department of Education Advisory Commission Special Ed. Woo! Okay, next slide. So my passions and objectives, this is the thing that I'm very most passionate about to talk about today, is one most important thing to me is advocating for inclusion. I believe that promoting an inclusive community is very important to me. I want to make sure that all youth voices are being heard with special needs. I don't mean like this much. I mean like everybody's voices need to be heard. And that's something that that's one of my passions that I hope to accomplish. But making sure that there are equal opportunities for all students and a quality of education, a quality of healthcare, a quality of mental health services, make sure that these things are accessible, equal to every single student, and no student and no person is being left behind and not have that opportunity. I want to do is for advocating for inclusion, I hope to collaborate with schools to implement these inclusive teaching methods and support systems, because I know that many school districts and schools are struggling with this. They don't have a very inclusive teaching style. A lot of them have very interesting teaching styles that's kind of not inclusive, and it's kind of exclusive to many special needs students. And I want to make sure that I collaborated with these schools and districts to make sure that we're implementing an effective way where all students are feeling like they're included and having equal services. And most importantly, this is something that I'm very, very passionate about, and something that I'm very excited is I want to make sure that incarcerated and homeless youth get their service and support they need, because this is something very important to me. Even though I don't have any personal connection to this, I feel like if I'm going to be representing so many students in California, it's important to me that I acknowledge and understand and represent incarcerated and homeless people and homeless youth. I want to make sure that they get quality education, they get quality, they make sure that they have the service accommodations they need, making sure that they're not being dehumanized, making sure that they have mental health services, making sure they have the shelter, all these type of things. I feel like that they're very important to me, and I feel like California needs to support them. And that's something that I'm eager to work on, making sure that they get their services and accommodations they need. Another point thing of my passion objective is empowering student voices. I want to make sure that I amplify the perspectives of students with special needs, special education needs. I want to make sure that I'm providing platforms for students to share their experiences and suggestions. Something that I'm thinking of doing is doing a form kind of like on my social media. I was thinking of sending it out to the community and talking with many students about their concerns they have in education and special ed, so they can easily contact me about these type of things, and I can present their voices and make sure that these issues are not being ignored, they're seen. I hope to advocate for policies that prioritize student input, participation, and decision making. So for me, I want to make sure that before any type of decision I want to make sure that I'm making a decision that is right for the students, right for the youth, not something that's based on like, oh, data and money investments. I don't want to be making decisions based on that. I want to make sure that I have student voice input, make sure that I'm talking with making sure I'm talking with students and making sure that they have this, making sure that they have their inputs are heard, making sure that I'm making the right decisions for them. So, and now the third important thing to me is policy reform and awareness. I want to make sure that I'm reviewing influencing policies that enhance support students with disabilities in all schools, making sure that these policies are actually going the right order, and making sure that we're not neglecting state protocols, because I know many schools and districts do that. And I also want to be able to raise awarenesses about challenges faced by students with special needs, because I think that we spread awareness about them. It's very important. It's crucial. I also, as a commissioner, I hope to collaborate in establishing partnerships with federal agencies to drive positive change in special education policies and practices, making sure that we are collaborating with another in the state and making sure that we're making positive change for students. And something that also that goes along with policy reform and awareness is collaborating with school districts and schools, making sure that they're following state protocols and all students are being served. That's why I put all as captions, because I think every student in California needs to be served and needs to have what they deserve to have and what they need to have. And collaborating with school districts and schools is something that I'm very passionate about, and I hope to work with soon. You can go to the next slide. So let's talk about solutions. How do we empower youth? And how do I get adults to get on board this? Well, one is opening doors, making sure that special needs students, making sure that I collaborate with organizations and the state, making sure that we have more leadership roles and more opportunities for special needs students, because I feel like a lot of people my age specifically, and a lot of teens and tweens, they don't know that there are specifically like positions they can apply for. And a lot of people say that, oh, applying for positions, wait, I have a disability, I don't want to be a disadvantage. And I'm like, I'm sure you won't be, but I want to make sure that we're having more, we're collaborating with more organizations to have more leadership roles for special needs students, because I think that special needs students, a lot of them would love leadership roles. I also hope to like make sure that if we go along these lines, we're hosting workshops and seminars that focus on leadership development for special needs students, because I know a lot of special needs students fall in this thing of stigma, and a lot of them feel like, oh, I don't think I can lead. I feel like I can. I have this disability, but I feel like that I know that every single, from the bottom of my heart, all of them can lead and become a leader. And I hope to host these workshops and seminars, and how we can get these people into leadership roles. Another thing is establishing inclusive leadership training program for the state, because I think that this is a great idea and this is something that we should do, is not just leadership training program for teenagers and everyone, but also establishing this inclusive to everybody, and especially with those special needs students. Make sure that they feel included in things, and make sure that they're able to apply for positions and apply for like college or whatever that helps them succeed. My other solution is digital advocacy, amplifying accessible services. I cannot say this more than anything. I think that this is very important. I think that social media promotion about services and conferences that are available to them is very important. Developing information website, such as a central hub for accessible resources, which is a great way. And also creating engaging multimedia content like videos, webinars, and podcasts to reach a wider audience. Because I feel like, I remember like 2 weeks ago, when I went to the first meeting, people came in talking about family empowerment centers, and I was like, wait, this is something that not a lot of people know about. A lot of students don't know about like family centers in their areas. People don't know about the type of services in their areas. Parents don't even know about the type of services and accommodation their schools can offer, like all these great things. And a lot of people don't know that. And that breaks my heart when they don't know about it, because their schools, their districts don't talk to them about it. And I want to make sure that we're amplifying those accessible services to them as best as we can. Another thing I want to work on is as a solution for empowering youth is building bridges. Partnership with school districts. This is something that I'm very passionate about and something that I'm already working on. I think that we should have more school district collaborations, meaning that we want to be able to collaborate with school districts and schools, making sure that they're following through state protocols, making sure that they have the funding, making sure that they have the services, the accommodation, the resources they need to strive for their students. Because I know that the district I'm in, they fail to do that. And I want to make sure that they have the money they need, the support they need, and making sure that they can best support students in special need. And I think that we bridge this gap with school districts and schools. I feel like this can help California in many ways. What I also mean by that is we can organize joint events, workshops, conferences to share resources and best practices with them. And I know that like in the best way in trying to help school districts get educated educators who have the credentials they need to serve. I know that for a fact many it's hard right now because we have a staff shortage and we have teacher shortage, and I think that we need to have more educated teachers at our schools and districts, because healthy educated teachers equal to healthy educated students. So my last slide that I just wanted to put, this is a quote that I've been told, not I've been told, but this is something that aligns with me. is that I want to share with you is that taking a risk, we learn and we grow like plants. Because I think that no matter how daunting it is to be able to take risks, it's okay because we learn, we share our stories, our experiences, and we grow like plants. Like how plants, you put the seeds in and they're little plants and they're just growing and growing and growing. And that's what our humans are. And I want to be able to work with many of you guys. And I know that many things, many steps are just going to be a little daunting, but I think it will be okay and we will grow like plants. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Saran. And so next up we have Rachel, our second, or I shouldn't say second, they're both equal, student commissioners for the Advisory Commission on Special Ed. Rachel, take it away.
Hey everyone, hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope that you guys are all ready for some hardcore statistics right after lunch. Just kidding, there won't be too many numbers in this presentation. But research and looking at data-backed practices has been something that has been really enlightening to me on how so much of the infrastructure and programs that I've benefited so much from in special education have been able to help so many students like me across California. So a little bit of background about myself and just my journey through high school. My name is Rachel Ding. I'm from Monte Vista High School in Santa Clara County, and I'm actually currently a senior. So I'm kind of in that moment in the process of transitioning and trying to figure out what am I going to do after high school. It's a very daunting question, and I'm very grateful because I have a great support team, including my case manager and specialists who have helped me identify what do I want to do with my life and with my career, and how I'm able to utilize like my interests, my skill set, and apply it to practical problems. I serve on the Advisory Commission on Special Education alongside Saran, as well as on the CARS Plus board, which serves special educators. And being on these boards has just really broadened my experience. And I've learned so much about how it's so impactful to students in their lived experiences, because like this is our day to day. And it's really given me a sense of purpose in tying it back to what am I going to do after high school. So I really do want to pursue a career in education and in public service because of my personal experience and all of the knowledge and mentorship that I've received in this community. So some things that have helped me kind of develop as a leader and made me who I am today includes art. I'm part of the Santa Clara County Art Now Council, and we really serve the youth in our community to find their love of art and how it can be such like an empowering force of self-expression, of creativity. It's something very hands-on and it's universal. Everyone can engage in the act of making something as an expression of joy, of wonder. So in the bottom right, that picture of the bench was actually a bus mural that our district did as a collaboration with our extended school year program with special education students. And that experience was so fun and really eye-opening in how it brought people from all walks of life together, because everyone could understand like the simple joy of putting color on something. And I feel like it taught me a lot about how to work with others, how to organize, and how building a sense of community can come through simple things such as an art project. And that has really helped me find like what I enjoy about teamwork and about being with others who've gone through similar experiences as me. And we can kind of share our combined experiences, our combined joy through something that is like tactile, that we can see, that we can feel. And another big part of my life and that kind of developed me and my passions and my interests is through service. I served 2 years on my city's teen commission, as well as I'm also in Interact. And And we really focus on how we can give back to the community. Interact's motto is service over self. And I feel like that perfectly describes how through the journey of volunteering and of providing your time and energy to the whole community, you're incredibly fulfilled with that connection and with that relationship to others. And that's been a really big part of how I developed as a leader and me looking into my future, what I want to do with my life. It also gave me some really great chances to explore how we can bridge a lot of the gaps that have existed in many schools and many districts across California. For example, a lot of special education students do feel left out and feel like they aren't part of the student body because of that divide between general education and special education. So through our events that we try to organize, including a community garden at our school, we really have general education students and special educations interact and get to know each other. And I feel like that heals a lot of like misunderstandings and also just ignorance within the community and builds those strong bonds that as we are like leaving high school and all of the seniors that I know as they're going out into like the real world, it's such a big part of us understanding like what is our place in the world and what do we want to do with our lives. Next slide. And something else that I've been working on for a long time and that has really kept me going through a lot of tough times is research. We can't see the next slide. Perfect. So that's a picture of me presenting at the CARS Plus conference this year with special educators from all over California, as well as with the CARS Plus board. So I've been on an IEP since elementary school, and the biggest supports that I have received has been my case management team. They've not only helped me with my academic needs of finding the courses that I enjoy and I'm passionate about and I want to take, but also with like life skills, with my social emotional learning. And I think that has really become a pillar in the support and mentorship that I've received, including things like what I'm doing right now. Like, how do you prepare a presentation? How do you speak in front of people, which can be very, very scary. And with my support team, I have seen how there is a critical shortage of specialists, of special educators, of para-educators, and so many staff in this industry because of things like burnout and turnover. And I remember when I volunteered for our district's extended school year program, there was such a large shortage of para-educators that they were scrambling to find aides just like weeks before the program. And I knew of a teacher who had to come back. It was his third time out of retirement because we couldn't find a replacement. So that kind of led me to doing research where we really try to highlight the experiences of special educators and what supports we can utilize to help them. And throughout the experience, I had a lot of help from my district, the Fremont Union High School District, that including Trudy Gross, the Associate Superintendent, and Ms. Nancy Sullivan, the Director of Special Services. They helped me identify the problem and encouraged me as I was doing this research. To me, it was like something very brand new. I'd never done it before. It was such like a new space that I had to explore and figure out. But it was such a fulfilling journey, and it made me realize that this is what I want to do. I want to look at problems that are affecting the people I care about and see how we can fix them on a large scale. So both individual experiences benefit, but also all students, all educators within our community are able to benefit from programs, from services. So where am I now? I am a senior, and so I'm considering what is in the future. And I know that I want to pursue a career in education in this field, whether that be through policymaking, being a teacher, administrator in academia, or other leaders in education. I'm learning from all of you guys here today. All of you are my role models from all the districts across California. And I think something that I have learned and I've been humbled by in my role as a commissioner is that listening is to be changed by what I hear. That has just been such an exciting premise of learning from others, learning from people from all over California and the different lived experiences. So student voice, I think at the center is bringing in a fresh perspective of people who are on the front lines. And this is our day-to-day reality. Next slide. And to kind of conclude, I wanted to go over something that I've been following for a long time. And it really was, I was really let down with what happened to Senate Bill 635, the Let California Kids Hear Act. So some background, this bill would have required private health plans in California to cover hearing aids. And as I am a hard of hearing individual, I know what the experience is like. It costs up to $3,000 per individual hearing aid, and families on average pay about $6,000 every 4 years just to have the basic needs of students met so they can hear. And only 1 in 10 private health plans actually cover hearing aids, which is crazy because it is an essential need for students and for people like me as we are part of the community. It's so hard to make connections if we can't even hear. And currently, it has been vetoed by Governor Newsom on October 7th after it was unanimously passed by legislators. And over 30 states in the United States have already passed legislation that would cover children hearing aids, but California is not one of them. And to me, this is concerning as enabling youth to hear is a crucial step to help us to use our voices. We must meet the first basic needs of accessibility to services to build that sense of self-confidence and feel like we are able to be present, we are able to contribute to the classroom, but also to just the general community. And I want to communicate the urgent need for action from state leaders to be able to get this bill on the table again. And as I'm working with my case management team to see how can I make sure I'm able to support myself, I'm able to pay for my hearing devices in the future, I've been able to be a part of the decision-making process, and that has built so much confidence in me to be able to support myself in applying for scholarships, in figuring out what things will I need to take with me once I leave high school, and how do I prepare myself for success wherever I go after high school. So, and to conclude, my dream is to use data-backed practices and policies to really ensure that each student feels like they belong, that sense of rightful presence, and can achieve their full potential. It's that sense of self-determination. I can determine what I want to do in the future, and I know what I want to do in the future because I have a plan. And that can benefit all students and all educators and administrators and everyone in the system. So thank you guys so much for today. And it's been an honor coming here and talking to all of you guys. And I really hope that everyone can support this bill as well as other legislation that provides that sense of confidence for all students as they are transitioning out of high school, which can be a very daunting time. But with the right support, I think it can really prop up so many students to success for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Great job. So we want to now turn this over as an open discussion. And if anyone would like to comment or have questions for Rachel or Saran.
We won't bite, I promise.
I have no questions, but I hate awkward silence. I thought you both did wonderful in your presentations, and I really enjoyed listening to them. I think you both have a really great future ahead, and I appreciate you coming here to share. It's important to hear your voices. I'm glad that I was here to hear them. I hope you have a good day and a good rest of your life.
Thank you so much. So honored to be here today.
Thank you so, so much. I'm also very honored to be here today, to be even talking to you guys.
And then I'm not sure if you both are seeing, but we're getting a lot of great compliments in the chat as well. So a lot of people are saying that they loved hearing both of your stories, that you're both so brave. Thank you for the wonderful presentations, that you're both so accomplished and inspirational. Amazing work. Yeah, so it sounds like folks really enjoyed the presentation. So thank you to you both.
I'd like to second that. Rachel and Saran, you're both very amazing. And I really love your confidence. And I just think it's really timed for us to be able to hear our students. And I think that you are great leaders in that, just really starting those conversations and connecting with the students who are going through the journey and really experiencing, the challenges that you experience, the triumphs that you're experiencing, and being able to be on a platform serving on AXIE is really a great accomplishment. And AXIE is very lucky to have your voices there representing the students of California. And I'm just really invigorated just by hearing the passion in your voices, and I'm looking forward to just seeing how you both develop in your lives and in your careers, professionally, personally, and I'm sure we will definitely be running into you even more in the future. All right. Do we have any more comments from our audience members or participants? Any questions?
Just to let you guys know, me and Rachel will be attending the Breaking Barriers conference next week in Sacramento. And I'm not so sure if anyone will be there, but we will also see you guys there as well, if anyone is going.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And thank you so much for showing up today, for participating in our meeting. So good to see you both.
If you guys have a link to that, I maybe could put it in the chat for the Breaking Barrier Conference. I remember seeing it and I wanted to put that in as a link today and I did not. Oh yeah, see, Nick is asking the same question. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. All right, so we will now go into our partner updates. I have a few updates from the California Department of Education. The first update that I'd like to share is the Special Education Division Technical Assistance Network. The California Special Education Technical Assistance Network, CalTAN, is a central hub for the Special Education Division that provides evidence-based resources to local education agencies as they continue to improve upon the systems that support positive outcomes for students with disabilities. The CalTAN website includes evidence-based special education resources in the areas of assessment, collaboration, instruction, social emotional learning and behavior, and high quality IEPs. Please take a moment to visit the website or click on partner websites to find a resource that can assist you in your work, or use the search feature to find exactly what you're looking for. The CalTAN website is found on the slide linked above. Secondly, I'd like to share about the Family Empowerment Center's expansions. The CDE, Special Education Division, will conclude the 2023-2024 Family Empowerment Center expansion at the end of this month, November 2023. The expansion began in 2021 through an increased allocation provided through the annual state budget, so the department ensured an FEC was established in all 41 regions of the state to support families and children with disabilities aged 3 through 22. The FECs provide training and information to families of children and young adults with disabilities between the ages of 3 and 22. Several centers are a part of federal, state, or local initiatives and serve families with children, from birth age 3 to 22, or specific focus programs. To find the FEC that is serving your county, you can access one of the websites that are linked to the slides above. All right. Upcoming special education division sponsored events, building capacity for LEAs and parents of children with disabilities with high school transitions. The third annual Inclusion Conference is scheduled on May 9th through 10th, 2024. The conference will be Emerging of Visionary Minds, featuring esteemed presenters firmly seated in the driver's position, steering us towards innovative inclusion strategies through their expertise and insights. Attendees will gain the tools needed to ignite change and sustain an environment where inclusivity isn't just a concept, but a reality. Turning beliefs into actions and setting our compass towards a future where inclusion drives impactful change. This is a virtual event and it's funded by the California Department of Education. It's available at no cost to all organizations, educators, families, and students. And for registration information for this event and to register for any other events, please visit the Supporting Inclusive Practices website at the link above. The Parents Helping Parents Family Empowerment Center and Parent Training and Information Center has posted the Connections California Transitions to Adulthood resources and calendar of events through December 2023 to support families and can be found at the link above. And last but not least, the 2024 ADR conference is being held on March 14th through the 15th, 2024 in Riverside, California. There will be dynamic speakers and a variety of breakout sessions focusing on alternate dispute resolution. The event is entirely organized by the East Valley SELPA on behalf of the SELPA Administrators of California. Please click the link on the slide to learn more about the conference and register. And now I will pass it over to Joyce, who will be providing the CATA updates.
Thank you, Michelle. So the California Transition Alliance has been holding trainings over the last few months. Some of you may have attended some of those. And we, or Sue, I should say, Sue Sawyer has rolled out the new transition planning, the basics guide for 2023. And currently, like I say, we had about 100 participants that were trained in Sacramento. There was one other training that was held online down south, and then another training up north, which actually is in the process of being rescheduled. So you're going to get another opportunity to be able to attend that online session. So be looking out for that. You can get copies of the new basics guide for 2023. It can be found on the Transition Alliance website, and you can download a free electronic copy. You can also purchase a spiral bound book. Some of the new additions in the guide are information and best practices on alternate pathways to diploma. And there's information in there that can be helpful to our folks for starting early, starting transition early. So those were two of the main focuses of the new additions to the guide. So again, you can go to the California Transition website to find that. We also just recently participated, members of the CATA team presented at the Supported Life Institute. We had a great presentation by Sean Spence and his group that he works in, the YETI, the Youth Engagement Transition Initiative, which is sponsored by the National Technical Assistance for Secondary Transition. And we had an additional presentation on I Went to Work, I Know I Can. I was very honored to be doing that presentation with PJ Swan, who knocked it out of the park. But the I Want to Work, I Know I Can guide can be found also on the California Transition Alliance website, and it is a great resource to work with youth. And then lastly, we have our Bridges to Future. Actually, that should be the other way around. It should be 6 update instead of that. I apologize for the typo there, but Bridges to the Future 6 update is in the planning stages, but there hasn't been a tentative date set at this time. And so I believe I'm turning that over to Caitlin for the Department of Rehabilitation update.
Thank you, Joyce. So I wanted to provide a brief update from the Department of Rehabilitation. So one of the updates that I wanted to provide is regarding DOR's newly developed Department of Rehabilitation DOR Student Services section. So this new section is a little bit of a shift from the work that our myself and Sarah Candy's cooperative program section has overseen over the last couple of years, with the primarily a lot of the work regarding DOR student services being housed in the co-op section. We now have this newly developed student services section, which will be responsible for the provision of innovative and equitable DOR student services, with an aim to hopefully substantially improve outcomes for students with disabilities, looking for CIE or embarking on their careers. The section also will be responsible for the development and leveraging of statewide partnerships, the creation of new service models, some policy development, curriculum research and recommendations, training, data collection and monitoring, some quality assurance, and I think some work regarding some equity measures as well. So Elizabeth Musgrove is the new chief of the section. So maybe at some point we can even have her come to these meetings as well and begin to provide updates regarding DOR student services. It's really an exciting time for DOR, and looking forward to kind of seeing, how the new section will play out. So if you have any questions at all regarding that, please feel free to let me know, or I can provide Elizabeth Musgrove's email in the chat if you had specific questions for her. Additionally, I know that I've made this update a couple of times in the past regarding DOR's ability to fund what we were calling reallotment funding opportunities. However, when I originally made it, it was contingent funding up until September of 2024. So the funding had a little bit of a shelf life, and for that reason, a lot of agencies or partnerships were a little bit hesitant to move forward with applying for funds, just because it wasn't guaranteed funding past the September of 2024. But we have gotten word that we're anticipating that we're going to be able to continue that same funding for the next 3 to 5 years. So it's really more of a kind of a grant style length of funding now versus what we were anticipating before. So we do have available funding for the expansion of DOR student services and programs, or VR services in an already established program, or it could potentially be a new program as well. No match required is required for this, and so that's really kind of an interesting concept for programs who maybe historically have had a little bit of difficulty providing match. So we are able to fund programs without the match, and it's a really pretty simplistic proposal form to move forward. So I did have some programs previously contact me right after I originally announced this opportunity, and I think we've been able to fund some since then, but it's a pretty simplistic what we're calling a reallotment proposal form. So just a one-page document, and then meeting with local DOR as well to get their thoughts and support of either expanding or developing a whole new program. So long story short, we have some funding opportunities, and if anyone is interested in maybe programs that they've worked with in the past, or maybe if they've never had a DOR program at all, but they want more information, we could potentially look at moving forward with an opportunity there as well. So if anyone has any ideas, feel free to reach out to me, or any questions on the call as well. I can answer any questions that might folks might be wondering. So was there any questions at all regarding either one of those two things, either DOR student services or reallotment funding opportunities? Has anyone on the call taken part of reallotment? Was there any folks that applied for it and were able to obtain additional funding?
Hey, Caitlin, I can share that Vallejo Unified School District was able to participate in that. So we'd originally asked for the 1 year, and now it looks like that will be extended out until the 3 years. So that's very exciting for us.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for adding that in. Yeah, I was looking to see who was on the call, and I was like, I don't know if Christina has, or if there's anyone else. We've moved forward with a lot of programs, and I, at this point, I'm not able to keep track of all of them. So
I can speak. We haven't in our program, only because we're looking at like the sustainability of just the increasing COLA. So looking very short term at that time with that conversation, just covering salary and benefits, having to think about expanding or enhancing services, it didn't feel like the right thing at that time. But I'm interested in talking more with you. I'll reach out separately if there's some flexibility with what that could look like for a program like ours.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
And we here in LA Unified have not yet. We're waiting on our budget team to cost some things out for us, but we plan to submit a proposal later this month. And the extension past September 2024 was very helpful because when we saw the initial ending date of September 2024, it gave us a moment of pause to think, okay, what could we get done? And then it would have to stop. But that allows us to continue through the last year of our contract through end of next school year, and then potentially decide how to move forward with our new contract cycle. So thanks for the reminder, but we are working on it.
Yeah, that's great news, Jacqueline. And then the 3 to 5 years anticipated funding, that doesn't necessarily even mean that will be when it ends. It's just that's kind of as far as we can see in terms of budgetary planning right now, where we don't know what that will look like past. But I think DOR has been very transparent about the fact that kind of their support and their desire to continually fund programs that seem like they're being beneficial for students and are seen as successful. So I would be really surprised if if your program is doing great work and your outcomes look great, and overall the program health is well, I think there's a commitment to kind of continue that same funding. So yeah, well, I'm glad that there's been a little bit of utilization and some plans to utilize as well. So that's great news. Okay. And I am honestly not recalling who I'm passing it back to. I think it's probably maybe, I don't know, Michelle.
All right, there I am. Okay, just a few other updates. The California Transition Alliance hosts the website. You see the link there. And there's also a YouTube channel that contains all of the CACOP previous meetings, so you can access that at any time. And all right, and our next meeting. The next COP general meeting is scheduled for December 4th. Together, we make these meetings relevant, effective, and useful. Therefore, if you have recommendations for potential topics, presenters, please reach out to either myself, Caitlin, or you can always email the CACOP inbox through the CDE as well. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, so that concludes our COP meeting for today. Thank you all for taking the time to tune in and be present in the spirit of collaboration. A really big thank you to our guests, Commissioners Ding and Sargal, for sharing your voice and your experiences with us. And always a big thank you to the team, Caitlin at DOR, Joyce at CATSA, and Nick at CDE for your constant efforts. In good health, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will see you in December.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.
Mhm.